I think we're going to start. And just so you know, I'm going to be commission members. Everybody here? Yeah? I'm going to be, pay attention to me, okay? Because I'm going to be kind of we have a lot of procedural things here today in terms of the public hearing, et cetera. So I am going to make a motion to open the special meeting. I need a second.
Mary Lou Mancuso, second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Motion carries. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 6 to 0. Great. All right. Can we have roll call, please?
Mancuso,
Present.
Palmer,
Present.
Swartz,
Here.
Waterman Culpa,
Here.
Hershey,
Here.
Kenzie.
Here.
For town, Buckeye, Fidel here, Quinn,
Here.
Demopoulos, or Robshaw. Okay. And Howard.
All right. We also have counsel here, outside counsel from Hudson Russ.
Yes, I'm Charles Malcolm, outside counsel, Hudson Russ.
Right. With us today as well. Is that everybody? Okay, great. All right, I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing regarding the local landmark nomination for property located at 22 Chateau Terrace, Amherst, New York. Can I get a second?
Hershey, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 6-0. All right, good evening. This is a public hearing brought pursuant to Section 121-6 of the Amherst Town Code regarding a proposed local landmark designation of property located at 22 Chateau Terrace. A landmark designation application was presented to this commission in March of this year, and at our June 6th meeting, a motion was made and passed to move to public hearing to gather evidence pursuant to the statute. Amherst Town Code Section 121-5 establishes a Historic Preservation Commission with various powers, the first of which is to recommend designation of historic landmarks, sites, and districts to the Town Board for their consideration. Chapter 121-6 establishes the criteria and the process for recommendation for designation of historic landmarks, sites, and districts, and requires the commission to hold a public hearing prior to recommending designation of a landmark to the town board. The purpose of the hearing today is to gather evidence and information in accordance with the statute for that purpose. The commission and the statute provides that the commission, property owners, and any interested parties is up here. Okay, good. The statute provides that the commission, property owners, and any interested parties may present testimony and documentary evidence regarding the historic, architectural, or cultural importance of the proposed landmark, which becomes part of the record that is sent to the town board. And so just so we keep in mind and understand what our focus is today, basically that's what we're doing. We're gathering information from the public with regard to the historic, architectural, or cultural importance of the proposed landmark, which is 22 Chateau Terrace, individually. We're not talking about districts. We're not talking about any other property. We're focusing, this is on, with regard to landmarking 22 Chateau Terrace. Comments, and also on here I have the criteria. Oh, we can't see the whole thing? Okay. The criteria that was identified by the commission in the motion in the June 6th meeting as being appropriate to this property was A2, embodies the distinctive characteristics of a type, period, or method of construction. We will have 3 minutes for each person to speak. And when you approach the podium, we would ask you to state your name, your address, and speak clearly so we can hear you, and it is picked up on the recording. And you will be notified if you exceed your 3-minute time period. We'll let you know if you run out of time. So at this time, if anyone has evidence regarding the historic, architectural, or cultural significance of 22 Chateau Terrace, if you would like to approach the podium at this time.
Hi, my name is Sam Smith. You said my address too?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Name
that's,
and address. Thank you.
60 Fruhoff Avenue. The first thing I want to start with was when this property was rezoned, one of the things that was brought up by my husband specifically, he couldn't make it. His name is Mike Kozlowski. He brought this up back in 2021, that he didn't understand why a single-family house was being rezoned. I know one of my neighbors put through the application for this property of 22 Chateau Terrace back in March. And then we came to find out back in April, New York State's the Park and Recreation and Historic Preservation Office has said this, along with a bunch of other properties, could be deemed historic. What we found out was that it wasn't just a house, and it wasn't just an old house, and it's construed as a fight against development. What we found out was not only is it part of the neighborhood, but it also is part of a significant history. My neighbor had presented about the Sauer brothers, who were instrumental in developing the Delaware Park area, and then also North Buffalo, then College Hill Park, and several of the houses within Chateau, 22 Chateau Terrace being one of them, was significant in this part of this college. I think it was College Hill that he was trying to develop, and he was working his way through, actually I should say the Sauer brothers, not he, but the Sauer brothers themselves were working their way through Chateau Terrace. So what we have learned has been quite startling in that it does meet the criteria for the section A and C for the criteria of it's part of not only the history of those neighboring streets and part of the development, it is age-wise historic, but it is also significant to the area. And one of the things that we have found through our journey was one of the things in the Snyder Action Plan was saying how commercial property, and I don't have the exact wording, but something that was in the Snyder Action Plan was how you're cutting away or eroding into residential areas for commercial property, and the existing commercial property has already cut into residential area. So again, my husband put forth back in 2021 a concern regarding rezoning this property in the first place. And the steps and actions that has happened since then have reinforced a degradation of the intent of not only town code, but the Snyder Action Plan and what we have found through our research is this is potentially historic.
Thank you. I just want to clarify one thing also. Our record will contain everything that we've received with regard to this property. Yes, so you don't have to, I mean, we got all the PowerPoint and everything. It's all in there, and we've read it, and that's, we're here. So we're really looking for additional information. Do you have something new, specific to the criteria, landmark criteria that is up there? Okay.
Yeah, so the application I submitted, hi, Jessica Black, 79 Fruhoff. The original application that I submitted had two criteria outlined. Mm-hmm. I don't know exactly how you word that, but it was local landmark criterion I and local landmark criterion 2. So you have two here, but the application that I submitted in the write-up was criterion 1 I, for its association with the early 20th century planned residential developments, as well as its association with the trolley line and Main Street, given the proximity to Main. It was one of the first subdivisions. I know that's talking about the district, but this home was a part of that subdivision, so you can't talk about one without the other. It was also the spec house for this subdivision, so it was one of the first ones built on Lot 2. Lot 1 was the Squire Shop, the building at the top of the street of this particular subdivision. The developer of this home was Sauer & Sauer, who made their name originally in the city of Buffalo for building affordable homes for the middle class and contributing to upward mobility and local suburban development in the early 20th century. And that's all in my original write-up. So I'm just curious, and maybe you guys can answer this, maybe not in this portion, or I wait until later to have you answer that question, but how come it's just this one criterion, not both of those? Is it,
This is not a question and answer session, so this is a time for you to give evidence to the board, but they're
Okay.
not going to be responding to your questions.
okay, well, during the original sessions, I wasn't able to ask questions either, so I'm not really sure when I get to ask questions and when somebody answers them.
I think if you'd like to add,
I'd like to add that.
yeah.
Yes.
Provide the information.
Well, it's in her original, it is in her original
But
application.
it's excluded from
Yeah,
here. So
well-
I just want to make sure that it's included somewhere.
I was the one that put forth the motion for this property to go to public hearing, and I did not include that portion of the criteria that you put forth in my motion. So I put it forth for A2 only.
Okay, well, I would like to include,
But again, let me just clarify. We are fact-finding process at this point.
Sure, I just
So
wanna
it
put it on
doesn't
record.
mean it doesn't mean that, so we appreciate you, again, clarifying
Yeah.
and arguing that maybe we should reconsider that. That's fine. That's what this is all about. For
Okay.
you to
Great.
give us more than what we already have. Okay, we don't need to rehash all of what we already have.
Great.
But give us more than what we already have, so that if this commission makes a decision to go forward, it's based on everything that we have on the record, plus everything we get from the public.
right, purpose of the public hearing is to hear the public, right?
Right.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Lisa Dirtle, 92 Chateau Terrace. I'm just going to ask the commission respectfully to keep in mind that 22 Chateau was found to be a contributing building to the district when you make your consideration for individual landmarking. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Fred Lenz. I live at 64 East Chateau Terrace. I was born in 1954 and I grew up at 80 East Chateau Terrace. So I've been in that neighborhood the whole time. I spoke at a meeting several months ago talking about the neighborhood and specifically now to 22 Chateau. That was the Ball family that lived there when I was a child and when I delivered the Courier Express. It's a very unique home. There's nothing like it throughout Chateau Terrace, Fruhoff, Burroughs, any of the local streets around us. It's very significant in its architecture, and it would be a real mistake to see that building come down. I want to put that in context. When I was a young child, probably 10, 12 years old, we would go up to the fields behind the homes on Main Street that are now, of course, all gone. And businesses are there. And I understand times change. But there's one building in particular that's gone forever. And it's a shame that the town of Amherst did not take any action to save it. And that was School District 18. It was a beautiful stone made from Medina sandstone. Very unique. Stood behind where the library is now. I tried as a high school student to motivate neighbors to say, we've got to save this. Once a building like that is gone, it's gone forever. So we'll bring 22 Chateau Terrace into the equation. Once that's gone, it will be gone forever. I implore you that you consider saving that building, that structure. Perhaps the contractor can repurpose it, but please don't put it under the wrecking ball. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Richard Lippis. I'm an attorney, and I represent the Chateau Frauhof Homeowners Association.
Can we have your address, please?
Pardon me?
Can we have your address, please?
Yeah, well, my offices are at 1109 Delaware Avenue in Buffalo, but I reside in the town of Amherst at 7 Audley End. And I want to speak on an issue that I don't think I've heard many people speak about. I mean, the issue of 22 Chateau Terrace and its land making is kind of an issue that everyone agrees on, even the developer. But the developer wishes to tear down the garage. Now, the Secretary of Interior Standards essentially talks about an historic site, including the buildings and the site in which the buildings are on. There must be a significant showing if you're going to not just alter the building, but alter the site as well. The garage is part of the look and feel of the Craftsman style building, and it therefore meets all of the reasons why Chateau Terrace should be landmarked. This board received a letter from me in May providing the reasons why I believe Chateau Terrace needs to be landmarked, and given the 3-minute time limit, I won't repeat what's in the letter. But I respectfully urge you to landmark the entire site, not just the home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Robbie Ilosgirth. I live at 11 Chateau Terrace South, and I wanted to elaborate on what Sam was saying about long ago when the Sauer brothers were building up the area. Many of the areas in the city were developed, and then there were ads in the paper for College Hill, which was more towards a little bit east of Amherst High School. Then became the College Hill Terraces, with Chateau Terrace and the Square Shop being the main part of that. And that was their advertising in the publications, come out to the suburbs. And just like you look in papers now when they advertise townhomes and things, that area was a big area, and those were the selling homes for the area. So there might not be like huge homes that you'd see in the city or what you might see on the Brun, but that was the area, that was the gateway to Snyder and to Williamsville. That's all.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Jane Cox. I live on Harlem Road. My family's been here since 1920. My grandfather and his cousins were Landos. They were building homes in Snyder in the same era as Chateau was being developed. And he also built the home that I live in now. When you walk down Chateau Terrace, 22 Chateau is the first residential home you see. It is a gateway to this community. There's beautiful homes in that section of Snyder. It's a lovely little community. It's being threatened right now because of oversized development that will encroach on the property from Main Street. Somehow, this home got rezoned from R3 to the new TI 2.5 zoning. And this should never have happened, but it did. It's the job of the Historic Preservation Commission to watch for things like this in the town and protect the buildings that you can protect. This is a significant home. The history has been presented by the residents. I urge you to read it and take action to protect it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Evening. My name is Robert Moraes. I live at 39 Chateau Terrace East, just about 30 years now. I just want to very briefly make a point, build on what's already been said. A few days ago, Amherst celebrated Preservation Day. Signs up around the town, inviting people to the historic village in order to see that. I think that it's great that the town advertised that. I think it's great that many of us would have gone there or did go there. I think that in the spirit of that Preservation Day, it'd be very wise for this committee to very seriously consider preservation in the Chateau Fruhauf area. And since tonight's discussion has to do with 22 Chateau, particularly with 22 Chateau Terrace. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kathy Skor. I live at 90 Fruhauf, and I have some information from a neighbor who could not be here today, Mike Kozolowski. He has a special interest in we all have a special interest in the preservation of this house, because back in 2021, the rezoning happened, we all knowing that. During the public comments section, he specifically asked why this lot was being considered for rezoning. It makes no sense to consider tearing down this home. It is a great entryway, and when it was kept up, it was a cheerful landmark welcoming folks to Chateau. Since we've lived here, it has deteriorated because of neglect, the same way the Squire Shop building has been deteriorating for 5 years by neglect because the owner didn't do anything with it, and the town provided no consequences to the owner for letting it go into disrepair. So we need to assure that the owners preserve this great addition to a quintessential early 20th century home. Municipalities don't create neighborhoods like ours anymore. A walkable, human-scale, people-oriented community like ours is a treasure that the town should preserve. We cannot erode this example of a pre-war house that contributes to the wonderful sense of place that makes Snyder so unique. I believe there was a house torn down across from it. When did that happen? I'm sorry. Okay. So, you know, the bottom line is we live in a very special neighborhood. We all love this neighborhood. It isn't something, it's not just about numbers. It's about people. It's about residents. It's about quality of life. And as somebody mentioned, once these things are gone, they're gone. I mean, unfortunately, in the news, people are trying to erase history. So let's make a stand in our neighborhood to not erase history and to embrace the history. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Christina Coyle Lenz, and I live at 64 East Chateau Terrace. I would like to echo Mr. Lippis's comments with regard to preserving the garage. My husband and I restored an older home in Lockport, New York, and the garage, we had a decision to make, and we were not in a position to keep the garage at that time. Hindsight being 2020, and this was a circa 1900s home, beautiful representation of craftsman-style construction. And what I can say is that I wish that we could have turned back time and saved the garage, and we didn't. This garage at 22 East this is at 22 Chateau Terrace. As you're entering the street, it's the first thing that you see. When you're coming down the street, you see the garage and you see the home, and it's a really nice garage. It has been allowed to go into disrepair because there's a hole in the roof, and I believe that might be from a tree on top. And, you know, in fact, that's what led to the destruction of the garage
that we ultimately tore down. So I beg you to please save the whole lot, because people didn't just buy houses, they bought homes. They bought homes that had garages, that was part of the lifestyle, and it's very reflective of that time in our history. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? That's it? Okay. All right, thank you very much for your comments. At this time, I would make a motion to close the public hearing.
Brian Swartz, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, at this time, I would like to make a motion with regard to the landmarking of 22 Chateau Terrace individually. Just a motion to adjourn this matter so that we have an opportunity to take into consideration all of the information that we have. I just did. Yeah. Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to adjourn it so we have an opportunity to review all of the information that we received. Thank you very much. Can I have a second?
Mary Lou Mancuso, I second.
All right, all in favor? Okay, anyone opposed? No, motion carries. Thank you. All right, at this time, I'm going to make a motion to close the special meeting. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, so now I'm going to make a motion to open the regular meeting of the Town of Amherst Historic Preservation Commission. I need a second.
Mary Lou Mancuso, I second.
You can pick whichever one you want. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, first on our agenda, I'm sorry, we're going to do roll call again. Roll call.
Mancuso,
Present.
Palmer,
Present.
Swartz. Here. Waterman Culpa. Here. Hershey. Here. Kenzie. Here. Buckeye. Fidel here. Quinn. Here. Demopoulos. Here. Robshaw. Here. Howard.
And also, we do have outside counsel Charles Malcolm here as well. Is that everybody from the legal department?
Here.
Okay. All right. Okay, first thing on our agenda are minutes, the May 9th minutes. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the May 9th minutes?
Yes.
If they're acceptable, I need a motion to approve.
Brian, these are the minutes as amended?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, those separate.
The separate sheets, not the ones in the packet.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as amended,
May 9th minutes.
the May 9th minutes.
Yes, okay. I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? No, motion carries. Now, the June 6 minutes. I understand that there are some changes still to be made on those June 6 minutes. There's some confusion about a section dealing with who rescinded the when we made the motion, rescinded the motion, et cetera. And I think we want to get it right. So I'm going to make a motion to adjourn those minutes to the next meeting so we have a chance to watch the tape again and make sure we have the right people making the right motions. So I'm going to make a motion to adjourn those minutes. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, new business. We have the 22 Chateau Terrace demolition referral. I'm going to make a motion to adjourn this matter. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Kate Waterman Culpa.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No, motion carries.
Oh.
All right, item number 2 under new business. We received 2 separate district nominations for a Chateau Terrace Historic District. And so I'm going to deal with them just one at a time. Okay, the first one is Chateau Terrace Local District Nomination 1. This was submitted by the Benderson Corporation. No, I don't think so. I think the first one was Benderson.
Yeah, the first one was.
Yep. So I'm going to, I know he is not here tonight, so I'm going to make a motion to adjourn that, that item.
Brian Swartz, I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Second nomination was received, submitted by Jessica Black. Jessica, do you want to speak to this today? You don't have to. I just wanted to give you an opportunity if you want to. If you don't, if. Okay. Well, or would you like to, do you want to give a presentation on it? I don't know what your plans were for this. Would you like to give a presentation, like a full presentation at the next meeting? I mean, we literally, this is our first time looking at this as well. Okay. All right, so I'm going to make a motion to adjourn this as well.
I'll second. Kate Waterman Culpa.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? No, motion carries. Okay, so we'll do that. Okay. So now we're moving down to item number 4, September meeting reschedule. We have a conflict, as we talked about in the June meeting, with our September 12th meeting. And so we did send an email around, and it seems as though September 26th is a day that will work for us. We will not be able to get a quorum at the September 12th meeting. So can I make a motion to reschedule the September 12th meeting for the Town of Amherst Historic Preservation Commission to September 26th?
I had to change my vote, so I'm not going to vote. I can't make it. There's a Williamsville Historic Preservation Commission meeting already.
Well, 1, 2.
I'm down with that date too.
Oh, okay. Then I guess we can't change it. If we don't have a quorum. You can be there, you can be there, I can be there, you can't be there, we don't know if you can be there. So if we know we can't have a quorum, then we will not be able to change it, and we just won't be able to do that September 12th.
Sorry, James was like, you have another meeting. Because he has to be at the.
Oh, okay.
Scheduled date.
12th.
The 12th, but I mean, we're like hosting an event that we're not going to be at. So I don't know how that's going to work out, but this is more important than that. So, okay, then I guess we will just have to leave it as is then. Okay. We'll figure it out. Yeah, I mean, we'll see if we can figure it out. We'll figure it out. This is more important than.
This will be on the 12th?
So now we're not switching.
Okay, now we're.
Right, we're not switching, so we're staying September 12th, no change, yep.
Okay.
Did I make it? Okay, I'm gonna rescind my motion. Did I do that right? I don't know, whatever. I'm rescinding it. If the wording's not right, you get the general idea, okay. All right. We're hosting an event, yeah. Okay, next item, budget. We have a $3,000 budget this year, and we have spent none of it. And actually, I got some interesting information from James earlier today that the money, we did, okay, so for Preservation Day, we did not have any, we were not aware that we had any monies available for expenses for Preservation Day. We were going to pay for the expenses out of our budget, and and those expenses come to $599.50 were spent for printing, and $275.81 were spent for other miscellaneous items for that day. And so I need to have a motion to pay for these items out of our budget. But I'm told, Kate, that there might still be money left in the grant.
Nice.
I found that out. Correct. I found that out, I believe it was yesterday afternoon. Looking at my most recent grant report showed there was still a little surplus left over.
Is it less than 10%? use the funds for another purpose.
Okay, yeah, and again, it was an older report, but I know I didn't get any invoices after that.
And this is less than 10% of the
Okay,
total grant.
yeah.
So it should be okay to change, but someone needs to call SHPO and just verify.
Yep, and I will do that.
So we need to get these paid, and so I'm going to make a motion, two motions. I'm going to make a motion that we authorize payment of the amount of $599.50 to, for the printing costs.
Yes.
The copy store. Can I get a second on that?
Kate Waterman Culpa, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. I'm going to make and that should come from. Do I have to say where it's coming from at this point?
Well, I thought we had to clarify.
Well, what, Dan?
Okay. All right, and this will be coming from our budget. Then I'd like to make a motion to reimburse Kate Waterman Culpa in the amount of $275.81. That comes from $121.55 for lunch for the volunteers, the honorarium to the speaker of $100, and decorations, $54.26. So that's a total of $275.81 reimbursement to Kate Waterman Culpa from the budget. Can I get a second?
Mary Lou Mancuso, I second.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? No, motion carries. Okay, so this is coming, it's coming out of the budget at this stage, but if we find out that we have grant money available, then that will, it'll all work. But these can get paid right now, because I want these to be paid right away. Yep. Okay, good. Thank you. So that means we have somewhere between $2,124.69 left and $3,000 left in our budget for this year. So what I would like us to do between now and the next meeting is everyone give some serious thought to what we might want to do with that money. In the past, what we have done is, now last year, we earmarked about $1,800, I believe, for the plaques. We could do that again. We also generally provide our dues to whatever organizations we're going to join and get training from. In the past, it's been Preservation Buffalo Niagara. If you have other ideas of organizations that you want to start to use, either in addition to PBN or instead of them, whatever ideas you have. But I think we should come up with how we can spend the rest of our money this year to make sure we utilize it. And then the other thing, those were the two main items.
And what was the total amount for that?
So it's going to be somewhere between $2,100 and $3,000. We paid them last year for this year. Yeah. So we've been paying a year ahead. Now, in terms of plaques, so I'll talk about plaques when I get to plaques. Sorry. Okay. Next item is Damon University. Mary Lou, I thought maybe you could just give a little bit of information about what this upcoming event is on Saturday.
It's a very exciting event. Explore Buffalo collaborated with us back in 2019, and we had people from internationally, Canada, attend this wonderful tour. We toured 3 designated sites, 2 on the Damon Now University campus and the Gatehouse. This time, we're not going to the Gatehouse, I think, unfortunately, but maybe next time, because it's a wonderful thing to be able to go into someone's home, especially an extraordinary home like that, and see the property. But the 2 designated buildings on the Damon campus are very cool, too. And they're part of the Amherst Estates that was the first development moving east when the people thought it was too crowded in Buffalo and started moving towards Amherst. And thus a gatehouse, because they took a toll. Oh,
Of
cool
course.
facts.
Why not? What
Right,
a,
if you
what a
can.
unique idea. Okay, so we are, so Mary Lou, I am going, Brian Swartz is going, and if anyone is available and wants to attend, we're meeting at Damon at 10:30, I believe.
Correct.
And I'm going to give a short,
Wick Center.
at the WIC Center, and I'm going to give a short little presentation, then they have a presentation, and then there are tours of the buildings.
buildings, yes.
So if anyone here is interested, that would be great. And we do, we'll see, we're expecting a lot of people, so it should be a good opportunity to promote historic preservation. Okay, local landmark plaques. So we do have the 2 plaques that we purchased. James, were you able to find pictures of them? Do you have pictures? No? Okay. Oh, you have them? Okay. They're heavy. All right, nice. So one is, if you recall, one is for the street furniture on Main Street. And so we have to figure out how to get that up. And also, I just wanted to mention about the street furniture on Main Street. I got an email from someone saying that that sign is still not up. The street sign that was knocked down is still not up. So somebody, someone can check into that. But that's the street furniture sign, and then we also have one for the Harlem Road School. And so we look forward to presenting those in the future. Or just set it on the table. Why don't we just set it somewhere we can walk by and look? Yeah. Yeah. So again, those were about $1,800, I think, we paid for 2. So we could think of a couple of others. We talked maybe about the Stim House or the Keswick House or Stim House. You know, maybe we could contact the owners and see if they're interested. You know, we could think about that, okay?
Can I ask when we need to have the budget request in by?
Before the end of the calendar year, but I would highly suggest having that, you know, no later than, you know, mid-September.
Your budget request went into the town, it's the same amount that was given this year for 2023. So 24's budget request will be $3,000 as it was for 23 from the town. However you spend that, obviously, you can work that out. I don't know if that answers your question or
Do
not.
we need to tell the town by mid-September how we're going to finish using the funds for this fiscal year?
No, we typically, well, I don't, that would be news to me. You pretty much got to the end of the year to use it.
Yeah.
The 3,000 for
and I'll
23.
need- and it needs to be as official as I need an invoice or a receipt of some kind to show that, you know, that's being spent.
And we have time to do that this time. Remember, last year, we made the decision on the plaques in December, and we didn't have time to get
Right.
everything together. We already have a relationship with this vendor, so
Right.
we can definitely get that done.
The money needs to be obligated by
Right,
the end of the year
absolutely.
and encumbered if it's
So
going to
that-
go
yeah.
into 2024.
Okay, so that's why we need to decide as a commission really soon, so we can do that. All right, so those are the local landmark plaques. Old business, update on CLG grant submission and preservation day. We had preservation day. Does anyone want to make any comments on it in terms of what we think, how'd it go?
I was thrilled for the speaker series this year. I mean, it was well attended, and I think that's definitely something we should pursue in the future and expound upon.
I agree. The community, I don't know, was anyone here? The community really enjoyed the speakers. They stayed like for all of them, which I was shocked. And so I agree. I think we should really expand that educational piece because a lot of people came just for that. They had already seen the buildings. It was like, yeah, whatever, but they wanted to hear the talk. So it was great.
Yep.
And people at the door also wanted the artisan market back.
Yes.
So
What?
we have to figure that out, the artisan market.
Oh.
So they wanted to buy their jelly.
Yeah, there were several people who commented on the fact that there was no artisan market, and they were looking for that, and they were looking for food also.
Yeah.
Food.
So all those things, yeah.
Does it have to remain at that campus, or can we think about another location?
Well, we can think about anything. We can certainly come up with different ideas for it, for sure. Absolutely. Okay, and then, and the CLG, okay, so CLG grant submission. So technically, the grant will be completed when we finish our fourth roundtable session. That fourth roundtable session will be in September. My plan is to do my year-end report to SHPO on time, the end of September, closing out the year for us. But whatever reporting needs to be done for the grant, James will have to, that's typically coordinated. Christiana used to do that. Didn't she give him information? So we'll have to get Ben Rozek or whoever at Preservation Buffalo Niagara to provide whatever is necessary to do the final reporting on that and get that done by the end of the year. And then that'll be done. All right, number 9, proposal for the revision of the historic preservation law of the town of Amherst. Is
I'm here.
Ann here? Good.
Ann Demopoulos, Deputy Town Attorney. This is my last act as Deputy Town Attorney. I have submitted, I think I sent it out on July 17th, copies of what SHPO sent. We had previously reviewed and spent hours going over the statute, the Chapter 121 for historic preservation. And then a little while ago, SHPO sent some recommendations. So I did send a long list to you because most of the recommendations were changing words from like designate to recommend, and there were typos and things like that. There were only 3 or 4 areas that SHPO requested that we did not, in our working group, the working group determined not to make the changes. And that is 121.7.
As I recall, she was asking us to reconfigure the one provision, but we already had the language in another place.
Right. So
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, no, 121.7, she wanted us to explain what the applications were for, and it was under an application for certificate of appropriateness. So that we declined to do. I'm sorry, there was 121.6, and that was I and J. And they wanted us to talk about in more detail how to hold a public hearing, and which we have it throughout our statute, so we decided not to do that. She wanted us to put all the language that's in the model law, which we felt was unnecessary.
And can I just, again, because she was only looking at our statute, she wasn't familiar with the fact that we have other provisions in other parts of the Amherst Town Code that cover
Right.
those things.
That's correct. And then we had 121.9B, and that was, hardship. She added a paragraph which basically set forth that there couldn't be hardship created through waste and neglect, and we already have a whole section on that, which is 121.11. I'm sorry, not that one. 121.12, which sets out affirmative maintenance and repair required. So we felt that was unnecessary. And the last one, that was the last one. It was the last one. So I didn't get any questions or response other than from Norm, which I answered, and he did find a couple more type issues. But has everybody had a chance to review this and SHPO's comments and everything? I'm assuming everybody has and there are no questions?
So when we last discussed this on, in detail on the agenda at a meeting, I think we were all pretty much in agreement that it was, we were happy with the changes that were being recommended. We wanted it to go to SHPO. We got SHPO's comments back. So if there are no further concerns, I'm going to make a motion pursuant to Amherst Town Code Section 121-5H3, the Historic Preservation Commission hereby moves to recommend that the Amherst Town Board hold a public hearing to adopt the amendments in Chapter 121 via local law. Is there any?
Norm Hershey, second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? All right, we'll vote. I think I'm going to do a roll call on this. I'm going to do a roll call vote on this one.
Mancuso,
Aye.
Palmer,
Aye.
Swartz,
Aye.
Waterman Culpa, Hershey, Kenzie.
All right, motion carries 6-0. That's great. Thank you all for working on that. We've been working on this for, I don't know, what, 2 years, I think? So I'm anxious to see if the town board will be willing to make some changes to our code. All right, and I think, is that it? Oh, education plan website, that's right. All right, so I would like to ask everyone to take a look at the website, okay, between now and the next meeting or so. We do have new pictures. We're going to put new pictures up there. But there are also a lot of things that are outdated. We have the names of some of the resource people, their terms have expired and that should be updated, et cetera. So what I would like to do is put together a memo, kind of a comprehensive memo of requests of things that we feel need to be done to be updated and send it to IT just so that they can do everything in like one shot so that everything is done that needs to be to just kind of clean that up. And so if there's anything else that you think we should add to it, I know I feel that the list of landmark nominations still needs to be more prominent, or the list of landmark properties needs to be more prominent, so I'm going to take a look at that and see if there's a way that we can come up with another link or something to make that a little bit more, at the top of the page. If there is anything else that you think, we should do to the website at this point, besides just cleaning some of the issues up, I'd like you to take a look at that, and then we can make some changes before the end of the year. Any thoughts? I mean, there are people that aren't on there anymore. Yeah. In terms of education plan, we have one more training that we had paid for with Preservation Buffalo Niagara for this year. Now, we will have, if we do the September roundtable, that would be another training session. So my thought was, is there any interest in asking Preservation Buffalo Niagara if we can have the last training that we basically, got from them as part of our dues and move it to next year?
I'm fine with that.
Do we have enough time, right? We've already accrued.
We've had, how many trainings have we had this year? A lot, a real lot of trainings. I'm kind of trained out myself. So I just think that might just get us going.
And it gives them time to find a replacement for Christiana and then provide something technical.
A new topic.
Yes.
Right. So, okay, good. So I will ask Ben Rosick at Preservation Buffalo Niagara if it's possible for us to reschedule the training that would have happened by the end of this year to sometime early next year. And again, think of topics that you might be interested in having him cover, so we can look into that as well, because we all have all new people over there, so. All right, is that the end? I think that's it. Okay, if there's nothing else, I'm going to make a motion. All right, did I do it? Education plan, yeah, that's it. Okay, motion to adjourn.
Kate Wyman-Colpa, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much.